right, guys. I thought I should revisit True Crime this week interview with Steve Shirrila, only because he's still a moron in my personal opinion. And there's a few things that I didn't catch my first go round that I want to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start it where I stopped it last week, and I'll be at 25.10 minutes into a 51.44 second video. This is from True Crime This Week interview with Steven Shirrila. Is it Steven? Yeah, Steven Shirrila.
On and their car experts said, well, that's a safety feature. Yeah. Well, why didn't the brakes go on?
Aren't brakes a safety feature by design?
I think so, but what I'm saying is, the brake, you could see the brakes clearly
On the video.
on the video. You clearly see them, and his response, well, that's a safety feature. Well, why didn't the safety feature work prior?
Wait. That's okay. First off, if you watch The Big Sister Unhinged, those brake lights were going on and off because she says her and Dom were fighting. And I think this Big Sister Unhinged knows more than this motherfucker.
It hadn't hit anything. It just went across the road. That was right as it went across the road. So why is the safety feature only working right there? So
Why do you think they went so hard against her?
Well, there's the part where maybe I'll get myself in trouble. I think there's some collusion going on. I think it's a fix.
As he says, I think I'm going to get myself in trouble. He still keeps talking. He still keeps opening up his mouth. And right now, in a way, he kind of looks like he might be high, might be smoking on that bullshit. Also, I'm going to pick on you until you can shut the fuck up. Go in hiding. Move out of Ohio. That's what I would do. Meanwhile, cut your grass.
The favor. That last name, Russo, in this town.
It's like, I was trying to explain that to somebody. Having the last name Russo in Cuyahoga County is like having the last name Kennedy in Boston.
Mm-hmm. There might be.
Big Sister Unhinged has done said they are not a political family, and I'm going to value her opinion and what comes out of her mouth a whole lot more than what I will this fucker's.
Some truth to that. Like I said, this is a political family, and I apologize to the Flanagan family right now. If it was just Davion in the car, she wouldn't be in jail. She would have.
That's number one. I did not notice my first go around when I was doing a reaction here. Racist motherfucker. Bill. Wow. Let's continue.
It would have never left the juvenile court. This has to do with the boy's last name, and.
Wait. Let's back that shit up. Let's back this shit up.
What?
Racist motherfucker.
Mm-hmm. There might be some truth to that. Like I said, this is a political family, and I apologize to the Flanagan family right now. If it was just Davion in the car, she wouldn't be in jail. She would have.
Me. I'm gonna tell you right now. I don't live in Ohio. Thank you, Jesus. I don't live in Ohio. I'm not even the victim's family. But if I was, I'd just, what make me feel so much better is just to go slap that motherfucker across the face for being racist.
It would have never left the juvenile court. This has to do with the boy's last name, and the judge saying, well, I don't have a blood relationship. Look, I'm not saying she has got a blood relationship. I'm saying she has relationships with the Russo family, and her even saying that in court, just if you're going to believe she doesn't have a relationship, you're fooling yourself. I'm not saying it's directly with Christine Russo down the road here, but it's
Wait, they live down the road from each other? I'd have to go over there and just slap the fuck out of you for no fucking reason. At this point,
somebody, and
there are many Russos
yes.
in judicial
positions. Mm-hmm. In fact, it was
and the prosecutor's office.
Yep, and Christine Russo was part of that prosecutor's office at one point, and I believe she's friends with Tim Troop. I think they were in the office together.
Well, let me jump ahead a little bit.
Okay.
How is what was Kenzie's take on the documentary? How's she doing after this has come out?
She's okay. I thought she was okay with it. She was. She's in Marysville.
Okay.
She wasn't so okay with the fact that they used, when she turned to the lawyer, her lawyer was there with her when she did this, and she turned to him and wanted to make sure she said what she wanted to say and that she didn't sound like she's just talking gibberish. So she turned to him, and Dave ran.
Okay, first off, she knows how to speak gibberish, because whenever you go, was it it could be the e b anyway, the bitch already knows how to speak gibberish.
That and let it go, and it just makes her seem like it was planned, performant, you know, and it wasn't. I thought she did well, and she was beautiful, and I think she was very composed. You can see that she's got a couple years maturity to her now.
Yeah, I did notice that.
It's a rehabilitation. Marysville's more of a rehabilitation than it is a maximum security. You lock the cells, you know, or the prisons you see on TV or in a movie.
Are they able to go outside?
She goes outside. She's got a lot of freedom. Other than being a judge, she's got some freedom. She's got a day and she does stuff. They go outside. She's starting to take classes, college classes. She works in the kitchen. You know, she's got jobs.
What would she, if this hadn't have happened, what would she be doing today?
She was looking at modeling and fashion and stuff like that. And we were with the barber. She was with the barber son, and there was a big stink about that.
Yeah.
There was something she was going to something, or something was planned, and it was just them talk. You know, it wasn't us going, hey, we're going to do, it wasn't that. God,
Wait, I'm only doing this because he's got so many blinders on. Oh, she looked really beautiful. She looks so mature. I think you can notice she's got like more maturity on her. When all I saw was like this big, deep black cloud. All right, so I saw number one that I forgot in my last reaction video. He's definitely fucking racist. Number one, bitch, if you was racist over here in Louisiana, you'd be getting got.
So far out of proportion sometimes. It was just something she was involved with prior and during the accident, or during this, you know, during her rehabilitation or whatever, you know. So it's not.
Oh, he must not be listening to her jailhouse calls, or maybe the phone calls that her and her mama talk. She said she does not need. She didn't say it like rehabilitation. She pronounced it as some illiterate son of a wham.
It's, again, not a colorblind thing. It had nothing to do with remorse. It was about something she was doing already, you know. There was plans, or there was plans, and they were just top.
Just plans. All right, you just murdered two people, so you're still worried about your modeling career, because that's what I gathered after the crash. Number two, I did not pick up on.
Talking about it, that's all. It wasn't anything nefarious against the boys, or oh my God, look, she's trying to be a model after all. You know, but she was trying to be a model prior. It was just it was the continuation of what she had already started. So,
is there anything else you'd like to clear up that you think?
I can clear every little misconception out, and there'll still be the people on the internet making their own assumptions. I don't know how many podcasts I've watched that have all their information, anything they had.
Oh, he's going internet trolling. I knew he was going internet trolling, just like the rest of us are. We all going internet trolling. Let's talk about all her damages she had to her body, and where you think the femur's located.
Just to the story, there's a crash, 2 boys died, McKinsey, okay? But all their facts are wrong, you know. I mean, I hear, well, she was doing this and she was doing that. I mean, there's just, unless you really delve into it and look at the transcripts and look, and you're not going to, you can't see. I don't know how people can get on and actually say, well, she did this, and she didn't, you know. She didn't plan it. That morning, the boys woke her up. There was no fighting the whole time they were there. Even the boy whose house he was at, even said somewhat. They weren't fighting. Rosie and Bubba both said they weren't fighting. There was no.
I don't believe they weren't fighting, but I do believe that she did not plan it, and that she just that fire got lit and she just turned into a bonfire. And at that bonfire moment, whatever she had been threatening to her boyfriend, she intended to follow through to show him, I'm going to show you, if you disrespect me or want to abandon me in this way, I'm going to show you what I'm doing right now. and that's whenever she passed out, not really, and her her foot like down on the pedal metal, and then she's just like busted in that building because she was just gonna show him she meant what the fuck she said. So a little truth.
Fighting, it wasn't okay.
In my
understanding is
opinion,
Mackenzie
my
had her head
opinion
on
only, just my
Dom's lap
opinion.
almost all night for when she was sleeping. Okay, the boys got her up. They got in the car. My understanding is there's a grocer, or it was an organic, good food kind of, local honey, good stuff, for you. And my daughter and Dom were eating healthy. So they have lockers outside. So if you buy, say,
they eat healthy, but they smoke pot. Does that like offset the fact that you smoke pot, but you eat healthy? So that means that you're like doing everything good. Hell if I know.
Potatoes. She'll put the potatoes in the locker, give you the number, and you can come by at any time and pick it up. It was a convenience for the customer. So it makes, now, I don't know if they were going there again for sure, because I don't know. But that would be on the route. That would be the quickest way to, and they had planned on making dinner that night or going to dinner or doing something. They were planning her birthday. They were not breaking up. For anyone to say they were breaking up, it is a lie. It is. There's no base. It's a base.
Okay, who the hell is planning dinner at 5:30 in the fucking morning, man? I don't know about you, but at 5:30 in the morning, I'm half the fuck asleep. I don't want to wake up, and if I gotta drive, I'm driving too fucking slow. I'm just saying. And if I'm riding dirty, I'm riding with caution. Just saying.
Baseless narrative from the prosecution. It's an absolute lie, and they were never going to break up, to my dismay, mind you. I would, every time they did break up, I was happy. I was like, oh, please. Mind you, again, Dom was a gentleman over here, and he was very respectful. He was respectful at any place we went. Okay, so I mean, I don't, but again,
Nobody could.
He didn't have a job. He didn't have a job. He had hundreds of dollars on him at all time. We went to dinner, and he pulls out. He fanned out, more money.
You ask him, like, where'd you get that?
I knew. I know what he was doing. It must have been good. I mean, he's got the whole high school and right next to him,
I feel like if he can like grab his foot and like fucking put his foot in his mouth, that's about all he's doing right now. Because there's like nothing good that he's like really saying right now. And honestly, if you have a daughter, that's not really something that you want your daughter to hang out with. And I'm not saying that Dom was like that, but the fact that he's even talking, why don't you just take your foot and just put it in your fucking mouth, man?
I'm not saying that to slander Dominic. It is. It's just what it is. I don't know. Like I said, the lack of evidence and the lack of evidence that supports the judge's summation, there is none. They threw in at the last minute the cell tower pinged and you were there, so you were checking it out. Right. That's a leap. You're in the city, you're in Strongsville, and a cell tower in Strongsville, in an area that you're down all the time, picks up your phone, and how do you leap from, okay, you're casing this spot out? That's from a judge. That's from a sitting judge of how many years? What, 15, 20 years or something like that? She's been on the bench a long time, and that came out of her mouth. You case this place out. There's absolutely no. Now, if they had a picture of her doing it, and she's over there looking, and in one of her posts, she goes, "I was checking out the crash site too."
You guys still wouldn't fucking believe it. And I'm an insurance agent, so I'm looking all around, and all these tree limbs that are like hanging over your structures, especially your fence in the backyard and everything, probably hanging over your house. They're gonna fucking get you next time during a storm. Anyway, let's continue.
Sure. Look, if you can prove to me she did it with intent, then she's right where she belongs.
That's where it comes down for me is proving the intent, and it seems to me that the only way anybody could possibly do that in this situation is to get inside her mind, which we can never do. We can never know, which is why I think if it had gone to a jury of 12 people,
she would
one
never,
of those people,
she would have never got convicted. She'd be free today. She'd be going on with her life.
No. You said if only Flanagan was in the ride, she'd be getting on with her life, and now you're saying if she would have got a jury trial. Which one do you want, brother? Which one? Oh, I'm sorry. You too racist to be called brother.
But she'd be free. That's the truth. But to let you know that her lawyer, when asked her about a jury or bench, she asked for a jury, and he talked her out of it.
What's the benefit of a bench trial over?
I don't know. I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to ask Jim McDonald. I mean, he clearly knows the law better than me.
Yeah.
You know, I told her to get a jury trial. You're not going to get 12 people that are going to go along with this.
What's her best chance of getting out at this point?
We're at the state level. We knew the Cuyahoga County was going to be. She was not going to get any relief from. That's just how Cuyahoga County is. You know, when we've talked about that a little bit.
You kind of have to be from Cuyahoga County to
understand. So we knew Cuyahoga County was going to railroad us, or what do you call roadblock us at every pass, and they did. You know, them changing the coroner's report from accidental to homicide was done illegally. They needed to go through a court hearing to have it done, and they didn't. The appellate court called them on it, and all they did was smack their hand. If this had been any other trial, they'd be back at trial. That'd be a mistrial, or that would be a reason to go back to trial.
No. Okay. Shut the fuck up. Now, there's some point in this video whenever he's talking about all the crap his daughter broke, and he's talking about a femur being like right here, when a femur is like below your kneecap. Neither him nor the guy whoever's asking him these questions like caught on to that. Well, it took about the second go round for my daughter to like catch on to that, because she's going to school for being a nurse, and I told her, you know what, I'm gonna react, and I'm gonna like go ahead and set the record straight, because she don't want to be on video. So the femur's not here in your shoulder, it's below your fucking kneecap. Okay, I don't know if we're gonna even get there, because it's 51 minutes and it's down to 35 minutes. And another thing, I'm sorry, I'm too ADD. Alec Murdaugh only got acquitted or a mistrial because the clerk of court was trying to tell the jury to, make him guilty and shit. That's the only reason why that motherfucker is going back to trial. Okay? All right.
As Nancy Margaret Russo is blah, blah, blah.
Good name.
We're still fighting the late.
Oh yeah, you were a day late.
A day late. My lawyer, or we had a public defender at first, and we talked to him for like a minute, and he ordered the transcripts from the trial, because that's what you need, and the transcripts from the bind over. There's two different trials. One's at the juvenile level, one's the trial.
Yeah.
Well, when the new lawyers, Eric Nemechek, got a hold of it, all he had was the trial, so he put in for the bind over stuff, and the bind over stuff came a month later. So he thought he had a little more time.
Yeah.
And it was a leap year. It's almost like another perfect storm. And
who was the person to rule that it was a day late?
When they put the brief into, because it goes back to Nancy.
Yeah. Right. That's what I thought it was.
Isn't that crazy? It goes back to the judge, who's already biased.
Yeah.
Okay, she's already biased. She's biased herself, and if anyone can't see that,
she doesn't want to overrule herself.
She's not going to overrule herself. I mean, that ego must. I don't know how she walks in and out of the room with that kind of ego. It's unfortunate that a sitting judge of that long ruled that way and acted that way. Maybe it makes sense why she didn't get reelected, or on the new seat she wanted. Maybe it makes sense why the Democratic Party didn't.
Or maybe she didn't want to. Wait, hold up, y'all are what?
Endorse her. We've heard that there's some investigation going on about her. Who knows? but a sitting judge that long on the bench can't decipher between fact and speculation. She's either incompetent, dirty, or both.
Woo-wee.
Sorry.
Man, he's a brave motherfucker to sit up here and be talking about a judge, the Russos, the Flanagans, and I don't know if he lives like right down the road from the victims. I would just have to go over there and just slap this motherfucker across the face. I'd be okay with spending a night in fucking jail. Don't care. It'd be worth me just slapping this motherfucker across the face for killing my brother, my son. And if it definitely was my son, I'd definitely be smacking your fucking ass across the fucking face. Damn.
But the things I really want to touch on, the prosecutor. Let's talk about Tim Troop. Tim Troop in the documentary. You hear him. He's on camera saying, well, we looked at everything. We turned everything over, and we looked at everything. So it's this.
Yeah.
What do you mean you looked at everything? What exactly did you look at? How do you go from, well, we looked at all this, so if it was none of this, it has to be this.
Yeah.
That's a jump. That's a, well,
I have an expert there saying that the slipper might not have caused the accelerator to stick, but that's one guy's opinion.
That slipper. I didn't even talk about the slipper.
If I see that.
All right, so you guys had a lawyer. Y'all didn't get the lawyer to get up there and give a professional witness, expert to say that your daughter was like always like passing out at the wheel or some shit. Also, she was 17. How many years of driving did she have? Like a year and a half. And she sounds like she was literally, like the judge said, hell on fucking wheels. Hell on fucking wheels. Anyway, I just wanted to bring to y'all's attention, the femur is not here, okay? It's not even close to being here in your fucking arm. It's below your kneecap. Neither him nor whoever's interviewing him right now caught that shit. And there's a few other things that I probably didn't catch or I could catch. But there's still about 10-15 minutes left to go in this video. But as you well know, I cannot stand her fucking parents. So I'm going to go ahead and say peace out, people. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And I'm going to put this in the description below. True Crime This Week interview with Steve Shirrila.